Anytime I heard the N word, I cringe. I know there are others out there that are vexed when they heard the N word as well. Uh, I can never get used to this word. I can never get used to it. Even friends that love me, I walk amongst them and they might pat me on my back saying my N word, with love, with genuine love. I shudder. I shudder. I can never get used to being called the N word. We did not talk that way in the 1960s. The N word means to me that my kids are less, that my kids' Christmas is not the same as other people's children's Christmas. The N word is the worst possible word. This is not Black Power. This is a war cry of dehumanization and death. The noose. This is the number one purveyor of racism. The noose. I contend that it's another N-word. I'll make a noose real fast. And I contend that it's just another N-word. The number one purveyor of racism. We have it on city councils, the noose. We have Bubba Wallace. We might have fire department, somebody finds a noose inside the locker room there. A school board, somebody finds a noose. And there's a lot of fake purveying of another N-word, the noose. Jussie Smollett, don't forget Jussie Smollett, the noose. Let's take a look at the noose. If you look at this noose here, I look at the rings. When I look at a noose, I look at how well it's constructed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 rings there. And one of the number one things is, does the noose work? Yes, it works, okay? That's the noose. And then here is another gorgeous noose that I made. There's another gorgeous noose that I made right here. Again, people, let's count the rings, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 rings. That's a gorgeous noose. And I mean, of course it works. This is more like a Nazi type of noose, not some Klan noose. It's the real deal. This is a gorgeous noose right here. It's another N-word. Some might contend that the N-word is the last word that a Black man might hear before he was hung. I might also say that the noose is the last N-word that a Black man heard before he was lynched or hung. If you think that analogy is stupid, it's the exact same thing. The whole darn thing is stupid. N-words are stupid. This is not Black Power. My sisters, you too are complicit in the N-word usage. You do not call other sisters the N-word. You don't call each other the N-word. Sisters, you call each other the B-word or 304s. You turn that word 304 around backwards, okay? But you call each other 304s or the N-word. You save the N-word for Black men and boys. Lesbians as well. You don't call your significant others the N-word. Lesbians call their significant others the B-word or 304s. This is an interesting observation, that the N word with our sisters is reserved mainly for the black men and boys. If I were the devil, if I were the devil, I would use trickery of the N word to be false black power. If I were the devil, I know the power of music, and I would use music's influence to encourage and flourish the use of this evil word. If I were the devil, I would use the artistry of the comedians. True genius wordsmiths the comedians are. True thought leaders to make this word chic. If I were the devil, I would make them think that some Faustian deal has been made where they can say the word and no one else can say the word. If I were pure T Satan, I would fool this women. I would fool black women into surreptitiously only calling black men and black boys the N-words, unbeknownst to them. If I were the devil, using my principalities on the black people, this is what I would do. This is exactly what I would do if I were the devil. We need a leader. Someone who can shepherd us out of this morass of the N-word being just used this way. As I said, we didn't talk this way in the 1960s. We didn't talk this way. I just don't remember. The reason why Richard Pryor became so big is because he was a bit iconoclastic and broke through using the N-word. And it just shocked people. It was our own personal little secret. We need a leader to lead us out of this. Someone with this prerequisite, an ancestral calling to get us out of this mess. This prerequisite, I'm 63 years old. So if I were older, you would say that I'm some old fuddy-duddy and I'm too old. If I were younger, you would say that I'm too young. I'm 63. I'm just right. My qualifications, not just being 63, but I went to this thing called the Million Man March. And if you don't know about the Million Man March in 1995, you better ask somebody. The Million Man March was the most significant event in Black American history ever. A lot of leaders came out of that. Here's a picture of me and my brothers. Okay, now that right there is the Million Man March. Here's my brother Rodney right there at the Million Man. My brother Rodney and my brother Darrell. You see my brother Rodney with the hairstyle, my brother Darrell right there. I took that picture. And then here's a picture of me in 1995 at the Million Man March. Now, one thing about the Million Man March is that this was 1 week after OJ. So you had to be brave to be going there. And believe me, it was about 1 million brothers there, the most significant event in Black America. If you don't know about the Million Man March, you better ask somebody. If somebody can show me these bona fides, these qualifications, they can pretty much speak. But I have this, and I consider myself the Black leader on this subject. And Anyone who pretty much veers off from what the path is that my leadership is showing, you will be dealt with harshly. And I consider you an N-word lover. Show me your bona fides to fight this word. Now that I'm your new leader, I declare myself a dictator. That this is not a democracy, getting rid of the N-word. That it's going to take a dictator to do this. In the style of Chairman Mao, in the style of Stalin, Kim Jong-un. That's what it's going to take to get rid of the N-word. But I'm merciful. I'm a merciful dictator. But that's what it's going to take to get rid of the N-word. Now that I'm considered your foremost Black leader on this subject, and I consider myself the leader on this subject, here are the goals. The goals are our number one objective. Let's get rid of that N-word in 22.5 years. 22.5 years is one generation from birth to adulthood. We're fudging a little bit, but 22.5 years. Mind you, just a few years ago, there was no twerking. Okay, in 2005, women weren't twerking. Okay, that's how quickly we can change, and that we can change this. Okay, the goal is to give 70-year-old Blacks a reparation stipend from N-word users. Okay, and the 70-year-old Blacks are the ones who truly suffered from Jim Crow. We would collect fines from N-word users. Our techniques, we would use N-word virus injection points. Number one being the anti-N-word business card. That's number one. The second, what we'll be doing is starting an infomercial with N-word users that will create a virus and that becomes cannon fodder that will destroy this word. We have to use shame. Another one of our goals is to use shame. How do you create shame in a group of people that has WAP as a song, or will end up being with the devil, dressed in pink? Nothing shames these people. Nothing shames these people. We have to create shame. And guess what? I've got it. I know just how to create shame with these people. Stick with me. Next. We can't do this without you, people. We can't do this without you. So we need a secret police. A secret police like all dictators have. We need a secret police to turn in N-word users to anti-nword.com. Also, our last goal is to create a DNA registry of N-word users for my ultimate plan of shame. The fines. The fines for the N-word users. Okay. Now, the fines are used to pay reparations to 70-year-olds who are the true sufferers of the Jim Crow laws. The violations and fines. So one N-word cycle is a violation, and that fine is $25. So someone just at a party, whatever, that's one cycle. And that's a $25 fine. Going to anti-nword.com to pay reparations to the greater than 70-year-olds. different groups have different weighted fines. Black female use, fines are doubled. The reason why is because black females use the N-word only against black men and black boys, never against themselves. The sisterhood is strong. Fines are doubled. Rappers. We're using certain formulas for rappers. So we're using the upfront and streaming royalties. And what we're doing is a live performance, the Other Than Black, OTBs, times US or upfront and streaming royalties. That would be a formula of 0.00025. So OTB times 0.00025. 0.00.25 is streaming pay-per-clicks. So we'll be getting a piece of their revenue for using that word. Comedians, live audience, OTB times US 25. So every OTB that was in that audience, their upfront fees, we're going to charge 25%. For every Other Than Black that is streaming, we're using their 0.0025 formula as well for their streaming videos. For comedians, they use the N-word in front of OTBs, Other Than Blacks. We only kept it amongst ourselves. This is embarrassing. Movies, the black actors and athletes. The N-word will be the times used equals a upfront fee and a streaming fee as well, per salary weighted. Quadruple fines when the N-word is used in front of kids. Quadruple fines for friendly OTB usage, like saying you are my white N-word, something like that. Those fines are quadrupled. Next, thought crimes. If you even think the N-word, just in your mind, you think the N-word, you need to pay your reparations. That's a thought crime. You need that you're thinking the N-word. We're trying to get rid of this word. The N-word injection point, what we're using is an infomercial to root out these people and business cards to get them over to our site. Now, the N-word injection point, right here, I have this graph, and that's 22.5 years, XY axis. And right here is 60% of 1,000 blacks. Let's just take one city, Chattanooga, Tennessee, or Charlotte, North Carolina, or Miami, Florida. 1,000 blacks. 60% of them uses the N-word. That gives us 600, 500 down there. Now, what I'm saying is once we do our injection points right here, it's going to taper off. And right here, I see a precipitous drop at about year 10, where at about year 10, where we can have pretty much, we'll be at 0.5%. We'll have about 0.5% of people using the N-word. And here's an N-word usage graph using our injection points. Shame. This is what we have to create, is shame. The shame that we will be using is different techniques. So it's N-word punishment phases. Let's take one N-word user, one of the worst ones. Let's just say we've got a guy called Teeny, and he's in 3rd Ward, Houston, just using the N-word, flippantly, just using the N-word, okay? That photo is sent, or that video is sent to anti-nword.com. We've identified this N-word user on the blog, and the fine will be targeted. Phase 1, we're gonna show Teeny, humiliate Teeny. We're going to show him taking money from Granny. Phase 1, humiliating Teeny for using that N-word. Also, we can target his hood with yard signs of him taking money from Granny. That's yard signs. We'll put about 10 yard signs and putting these at corners showing pictures of Teeny taking money from Granny because he won't pay his fines for the N-word. Phase 2, we'll use online imagery to attack Teeny. We'll put him in a stockade to attack Teeny. Phase 3, we'll tar and feather Teeny to embarrass him a little bit more. Phase 4, we will send Teeny to the 9th circle of hell if he don't pay his fines. Phase 5, all of Teeny's spermatic line will be cursed to hell if he don't pay his reparations. And we will target each of these N-word users this way. Using the DNA registry, we can extrapolate the maternal and paternal lines that we are going to be used to banish these people and send them to hell, just like all the other dictators use to banish these people. We have spermatic images of all correlated, spinning with long lines of anti-N-word violators in hell. This creates shame. This is different techniques of creating shame. So we are really going to identify that N-word user and really heckle him and humiliate him citywide. Let's say Chattanooga, Tennessee. Let's say Norfolk, Virginia. Citywide. We just know just how to heckle this person using our N-word infomercial channel. My people, we can't do this without you. We need a secret police. You need to make a sacrifice to get rid of this N-word. And imagine just a world with no N-word, where you can go to the gas stations and don't have to worry about this. You can go out to eat. You can go out to a shopping center and just don't hear this word. And honestly, I was listening to this one singer called Slick Rick, where he's using this one word called figure, trigger, and bigger. And never did it occur to Slick Rick to use the N-word to rhyme with trigger, figure, bigger. It's just, it's vexing. We didn't talk like that. We just didn't talk like that in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 60s, until the late 90s. And now this is crazy. We need a secret police. Sacrifice. Turning your brothers that use the N-word. Turning your friends that use the N-word. Turning your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, your boyfriends, your girlfriends, your parents, your sisters to anti-nword.com. Your audio, video files would be greatly appreciated for proof of N-word usage for our anti-N-word blog. Black men, black women, black family. We have seen the decency of our people infected with a virus. We are called to put this evil virus of the N-word back into his bottle, back into the annals of history where we don't even use this word. It's an embarrassment. And that we wouldn't even think of using a disgusting, filthy word like this. And on behalf of our ancestors and my ancestors, they ask, who stole the soul? The N-word users has made this echo chic. But we say no more. This is not Black Power. Our war on the N-word begins right now. It's got to start somewhere. I declare as your dictator, July the 4th, 2024, anyone caught using that N-word will be considered hostile to us. Using our tools, the anti-N-word business card and the infomercial, we will do our attack, but it doesn't end there. How do we win this war? It's not one battle, but a lengthy campaign. We will shame the N-word users, and there will be no refuge, no hiding places for these N-word users. We're putting them all on notice. The hour has come. This is only Black Americans fight. We're not talking about white N-word users. This is Black and Black only. You're using whites as the scapegoat. That way you can easily skirt by. No, that's you using this awful, awful word. I ask for your patience in this battle. We will come together using the tools of AI and DNA research to fight the ignorance of this fake Black Power. We will not tire. We will not falter. We will not fail. Black Power. And let's see you try to nigger rig yourself out of this one. Oops, I used the N-word. Oops, I'm sorry. I need to pay my reparations right here for using the N-word. And I will give this to Granny, anti-N-word.com. Santa baby, Marsha.
Santa baby, a 54 convertible, light blue. I'll wait up for you, dear
Santa baby, so hurry down my chimney tonight. Hey, Nurse Betty. Hey, Nurse Betty. Hey, Nurse Betty. So hurry down my chimney tonight. Da, 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 da. Santa sweet.